All across our nation, rhinos are being moved to safety, across the border, to other reserves, and in Kruger to the Intensive Protection Zones, or IPZs. Now, it takes a lot of teamwork, but the real hero here comes in liquid form. In order to move these 2-ton beasts, drugs are involved. In this episode of Rhino Brief, we'll take 180 seconds to look at drug combinations vets use to anesthetize our rhino.
Moving an animal from point A to point B is not easy, particularly if it's a large wild animal like a rhino. This is where the science of anesthetics comes in. Vets need to understand how these drugs work and how animals respond to them once they are under. The more vets understand about the drugs and their physical effects, the better the decisions they can make in tough situations in the field. Vets can dart animals with a drug that puts them out completely, or immobilize them in such a way that they are partially awake and able to be moved under their own steam. Etofine, or M99, is the main drug used by wildlife vets to immobilize animals. Other drugs are used with the M99 to help various animals cope with being under anesthetic.
Sekere species is meer sensitief vir die effekte van die middel as ander species. Soos M99 in mense gaan jou letterlik in 'n paar minute doodmaak, want jy is baie sensitief selfs vir 'n klein hoeveelheid van die middel. Olifante, kan mens maar sê, jy gebruik 'n relatief klein dosis vir 'n groot dier, maar hulle hanteer dit baie goed. Maar as jy vergelyk swarternoster met 'n witternoster, 'n swarternoster hanteer die effekte van die middel beter as 'n witternoster. So jy moet jou spesies goed ken en jy moet verstaan watse diere is meer sensitief of meer vatbaar vir die negatiewe sy-effekte van hierdie middels.
2 years ago, 50/50 looked at how sensitive white rhinos are to immobilization drugs when the Veterinary Wildlife Services team ran research trials on the functioning of their lungs and heart. The main idea was to work out if giving supplementary oxygen under anesthetic would make the procedure safer for the rhinos by increasing the amount of oxygen to the lungs and bloodstream using a pipe put directly into the nostrils. Months of tests showed that providing oxygen can actually be detrimental under certain conditions. This is contrary to what researchers expected. What the trials did show, though, was how chemical combinations of anesthetic drugs really helped white rhinos being tested. So additional research is now being done to look even more closely at drug combinations for rhinos under anesthetic.
Dr. Bonne, why are these experiments being done?
These experiments really are the follow-on from the work that we did last year. And when we started looking at the effects of butorphanol and what happens when you give oxygen as well. So we saw some dramatic changes. It's made quite a difference to how we manage our rhinos nowadays. But what we want to do now is drill down even further, because we still don't quite understand what happens. We don't understand what the drugs are doing, particularly when it comes to respiratory and the cardiovascular systems. We really don't quite know what's going on here. And the reason we want to do this is that it helps us make informed decisions when it comes to mobilizing rhinos. So if you want to change a dose rate, change a drug combination, or you have a rhino that dies for some reason and you want to modify your drug protocol, at least then you have the scientific background on which to make the decisions. You can make rational decisions.
We actually are discovering things that are very, very different to what people have thought in terms of how the drugs work and what they do to the animal. And we're trying to get a very, very good idea of what's actually really happening so that in the future we can then aim to do other treatments or look at what the best way is to actually stabilize these animals.
Over the next few months, these results will be painstakingly analyzed. So every aspect of the research being done here is vital and might even reveal more surprising science.
Out of all the large mammals on the planet, isn't it ironic that the white rhino suffers the most under anesthetic? And they are the ones being drugged all the time, in moving them, dehorning, microchipping. But I'm confident that science will get to the bottom of this mystery. And that's your Rhino Brief.